That's where
commission.
like Renee and everybody lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for the
I don't think
DDA,
that's the city anymore.
the majority have to be like business owners.
What about, well, I mean, Mike doesn't live in the city.
Yeah, but he's not on a commission.
He's on the planning commission.
He's on there by
Yeah, deep.
laws, by charter.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it. I
Well,
just
he's-
wondered, because,
That's per the charter.
yeah, because Brad, because he moved, he's literally almost the same distance away. He just technically doesn't live in the city, so they had to recuse him from it. And he'd only been on there maybe a year, something like that.
Not very long.
So he's down there in Riverland.
Different boards have different rules or
Yeah.
bylaws, or the charter
Yeah.
is set up differently for different boards.
So you look comfy.
I went home, got on my suit. Went to become
You're getting
a-
brick put on.
Went home, already had my dinner.
Rick, what's the lesson?
I went and bought
Brick on her house.
I don't know what I bought it, you know, because I hate most of it. Goes in the trash. I think I'm gonna save a buck, so, yeah, we keep one for this and that. Well, you're not saving a darn thing if you don't like it, so if you don't know what.
Right, exactly.
And then they gave me this Coke. It was supposed to be a medium. I can't drink it. I shouldn't have ordered Coke in the first place. That's just True says. True.
Anybody happen to catch all the fire trucks this morning at 6 a.m.?
I heard him.
It was like, I have never heard more sirens in my life between the police and the fire department.
Where did they go?
I don't know.
Was it a
Tell you
fight?
what, Monday
I didn't
night
hear it.
though,
You could?
I know,
Going
I didn't,
down
I was up
Oregon,
at 5:30.
heading
I
west.
remember hearing it.
first there
Could've been
was
out there.
Yeah.
Michigan,
Yeah, I'm usually up at
Police.
5:30.
then it was the Lapeer Sheriff. I swear they were going 60 to 80 miles an hour by the time they hit my driveway.
So you heard it, Deb?
No, she's talking about
No,
Monday.
this was a Monday night.
Oh.
And then, right after that was EMS and another sheriff department. They weren't going as fast, but 60 to 80, so it, who knows what that emergency was. I was waiting for the fire truck to come after that. There was no fire.
They go by our house all the time because they go to Riverview quite a bit, unfortunately.
Right.
So,
There was some kind of a mess going up Oregon Hill, just past Gray Road. Just halfway up that hill, there's floor dry, and I don't know if there's an accident or,
That looked like an accident.
Was that Monday night?
I don't know, it's pretty close to.
It was. It would have been right about there because it wasn't there on the, when I went to work, and it was there when I came home.
Okay, because
There's some black skid
I don't
marks.
think I've
and-
ever seen a fly
That's a
by that
bad
house that
intersection.
fast.
The hills, yeah.
That's the gray in Oregon.
What's crazy is that's all swamp, so you never see deer there.
I don't hear it anymore, because like on the corner
Because they
of
can't get
Mobile
through
and
there. Can't get through there.
Oregon,
Mhm.
it's like you're constantly hearing fire
It's a good
trucks
spot, but
and
then
ambulances.
it's a
and
blind
police
spot no matter
cars.
what
It's
way you
like
go.
Just constant, you almost like
east,
don't
west,
hear
and
it.
blind.
yeah.
Yeah, you almost like tune it out, it's kind of weird, because I hear it
As
so
long as they're
much.
not coming to my house.
Yeah, as long as they don't come to my house.
Right.
All right, it's 6:30. I called to order the City Planning Commission meeting. Kim, you got 6:30? What's that? No. Kim, you got roll call?
Got it?
All right, in front of you is the approval of the September 11th, 2025 agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve
Yeah.
the,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, we're striking G1 from the docket. So all of them, you can just go ahead and cross that out. That was handled administratively.
Yep, per the consent judgment and the property transfer agreement with that property, there was some silly language in there that stated that no site plan approval extension was necessary.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, Mike and I sent an email and we're all good.
Awesome, I like it.
okay, so back to my motion then. I'd like to make a motion to approve the September 11th agenda excluding G1.
All right, I have a motion on the floor. Any support?
Support.
And we got support on that. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor vote with aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Seeing none, motion carries. All right, in front of you are the minutes held from, regular held from August 14th of 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
We got a motion on the floor. Any favor? In favor? Or support,
Support.
I'm sorry. Yep, support. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll vote with an aye. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. All right, public comments, this is where you can take the time to address the planning commission. You have 3 minutes to address us.
They're all
Oh,
invisible.
Sorry. And seeing none, I'll close public comments. Public hearings, we have none scheduled, site plans, none. 1, 2, 3, down to G. So we have our text minutes. I know we got a little bit of here to talk about, so Ben, take it away.
All right. Yep, so back again with our proposed text amendments. One draft text amendments, if the planning commission is mostly content with these amendments tonight, staff recommends that the planning commission make a motion to set a public hearing for these amendments at the October planning commission meeting. I just want to make a quick note, there are a few amendments that are included in your packet that are not up on the PowerPoint. So I've left off amendments that I know we're already good on, right? So you've got them, you see them in your packets, but we don't need any further discussion on them. We agreed upon them last month. So next month, when we potentially, whenever we do the public hearing, maybe next month, it'll be a large packet that will include all of the building material stuff that Alex worked through with you guys, and then the few amendments that are not on the board here tonight, but that are in your packets, and then all the other amendments that we're gonna go through here tonight, so. Okay. So here's the first one. This is section 71501. This is one that we've talked about, but that I didn't present to you guys last month. Overhead doors shall not face, formerly it used to say, overhead doors shall not face a public street, a residential district. Through discussions, I think we've all kind of agreed that we don't really mind if an overhead door faces a public street. This is one that Mike has talked about a few times. So simple strike through. So now it will just read overhead doors shall not face a residential district, but they can face a public street. There we go. Next. Okay, so landscaping waivers. This is one of the big ones that I wanted to clean up from last month. So that one on the top, overlapping landscaping requirements, that's one that we've already agreed upon and nothing has changed from that one. But here in the landscaping waivers one, we've made a few changes. So currently this reads, landscaping waivers. All waivers must be submitted along with the required landscaping plan. An applicant may request a landscaping waiver from the planning commission of up to 50% from no more than 2 landscaping requirements. So I know that we had some discussion last month on maybe striking this line that discusses from no more than 2 landscaping requirements. It's my recommendation that we keep it to 2. Because my fear is if we go more than 2, people will request landscaping waivers for all requirements. We want to give more flexibility, but we also want to maintain the intent of landscaping and screening. So that's where I go, from no more than 2. And in reality, we only have about 4 landscaping requirements in the chapter itself, so I think we're fine to keep it to just 2. And then in addition here, we've got, in making such a determination, the planning commission shall consider the following points. Number 1, site constraints, such as lot configuration, topography, existing site footprint, limiting planting area, utility easements, or general impracticality with the required standard. Number 2, the proposed reduction will not negatively impact adjacent properties, public right-of-way, or the overall character of the site and surrounding area. And then number 3 there, the remaining proposed landscaping is designed to meet the intent and purpose of this ordinance. So the way that this is written right now, a landscaping waiver could be denied if just one of these was not satisfied. So if we found that the proposed reduction would negatively impact adjacent properties, no landscaping waiver, right? So they're gonna have to meet all 3 of these to get an approval of a landscaping waiver. A little bit more clean than the last one. I think last month I presented something that had like 4 points and they had to meet 2 of them. Doing some research, this is what I found in a few other ordinances. Grand Blanc Township and Cedar, where it might came from, 2 to be specific.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I was looking at.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I guess he's gonna ignore me.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
So can I just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
So under landscape waivers, what did it say last month? I'm trying to figure out the difference. I wasn't here, I'm sorry.
No worries. So last month I had 4 options here, and in the language I had something like an applicant may satisfy the standard if they meet 2 of the 4. And then Mike asked a really good point that said, well, Ben, what if they meet 2, but they don't meet number 2 on this sheet, which talks about negatively impacting adjacent properties? Could we still approve a waiver in that instance? You know, if it didn't comply with 2, but it did comply with the other 2,
Just cleaned up.
and that didn't really make much sense.
So I guess I'm like, you're highlighting topography and impracticality because those weren't there last
Those
time?
two were also not, so this first standard had all of that except topography and impracticality.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just have another comment.
Yeah, sure.
real quick. Because it says the planning commission shall consider the following points, but you're saying they have to meet all of those. So should it say something more concrete like that instead of consider?
It could, it certainly could. Making such a determination, the planning commission will see that all 3 points are satisfied. Or
Right.
something more concrete, okay, I get what you're saying there.
Yeah, just because consider means, well, we
Right.
may consider these, but not
Mhm.
necessarily like sticking to them, I
Yeah,
guess.
so one standard, not. Yeah, I like that. Okay, very good. And then the one below it did not change at all, I just wanted to show that I got my calipers right this month.
There's a typo, just so you know, waiver
Where?
spelled wrong.
Where? Where?
In the, like, actually in the first sentence where it says request a landscaping waiver. It says
Oh,
it's
yeah.
WAVIER.
Oh,
Second line on D.
yeah, okay. Yeah, but sure, it's, the other two are right, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay. Very good. Next one, waste receptacles. So this is another one that the sentiment, the intent of this provision did not change. I just cleaned this up quite a bit. So now it reads here, when a property has multiple tenants, waste receptacles may be shared. If a signed agreement is submitted to the planning department, the agreement must include the following. Number one, a statement which confirms that trash production will not exceed the capacity of the dumpster on site. And then number two, signatures and indication of all parties involved must be included in whatever document they submit to us for a shared waste receptacle agreement. We can have it on record who is the owner and then who is leasing that waste receptacle, and then that will kind of work for us a little bit with this letter D that we got here. This was recommended last month. Waste receptacle and enclosure maintenance. All waste receptacles, enclosures, and surrounding ground area shall be maintained in a neat and orderly appearance, free of trash. It shall be the responsibility of the owner or leasee of the dumpster to maintain the waste receptacle, enclosure, and surrounding area so as not to create a blight condition or eyesore to surrounding properties. It's a good one. If we choose to enforce it, we've got it in there. If we don't choose to enforce it, then that's on us, but this is a total enforcement provision. Okay, this is one that we have not talked about as well, but I hope that it's pretty simple. So we have a use of land in the zoning ordinance that's only permitted in the central business district that's called apartments on the first floor. So obviously apartments on the first floor are allowed if it's zoned multifamily, right? If you have an apartment building, apartments will be allowed on the first floor. But in the central business district, we got really specific in our ordinance back in December of '22 and created this apartments on the first floor that is specific to CBD1. So think about mixed use buildings in this case. So formerly we had apartments on the first floor. The apartments shall not exceed, formerly we had 25% of the total gross floor area on the first floor. And talking with Mike, we think that we should bump this up to 50. One of the reasons why we think we should bump this up is to date, no one has applied for this approval for use of land in CBD1. And the catch here that I think is important to think about that kind of maintains the intent of this provision is this number 3 here, which will remain. The apartment shall be located in the rear part of the building where apartment's entrance or unit windows shall not be visible from the front lot line. So however the first floor of a building in CBD1 is configured, they'll still have to meet this number 3 intent, which basically means you kind of have to hide the apartments from public view a little bit.
Yeah, but you could have a really large building, like a large first floor. It could be a really wide, and that would be, I mean, I remember the discussion on
CBD
this.
are pretty small.
Most of what we're finding, the potential developers, is pretty small buildings. Yeah, so that's kind of where we went to 50, but that's a really good point. We do have a few buildings downtown that are quite large. I wonder maybe if we could change this to kind of stipulate by floor area, and maybe,
Right, I think that's the discussion we had, actually. I thought we talked about, like, if they, I don't remember necessarily the square footage, but it was like,
Well, it's
It-
making it, when they do the 25%, it's almost doesn't meet the minimum dwelling unit size for a lot of buildings downtown, is the problem I think they're running into.
for the actual apartment size, you mean, of a
Yes,
dwelling?
there's minimum size for dwellings if you have a studio, a one bedroom, how many rooms you have. So the 25% is making it hard for them to meet the size requirements in the table
Well,
703.
maybe we could say 25% or the minimum dwelling size, whichever is greater. Because that way then we're still kind of maintaining if we have a larger floor. But if there is not enough to meet that minimum lot, then we could say they're gonna have at least that amount. I don't know, it's just a.
What
just a
if,
thought.
here's just another idea, and I guess it's kind of like reverse of that, if we did the 50%, but, oh, I lost my thought. But if you had like a maximum size of apartment, so keep this and just have like max size, and I don't know what the reference would be or what size we would want, but we could put the max square footage can only be a certain.
I think that would be hard.
what if we did, something that said floor area of first floor, if you're under this number, you get 50%. If you're over this number, you have to stick to 25%.
So are you gonna make a recommendation as to what that number is?
I don't want to do it without knowing for sure more about these spaces.
Okay.
Like
I'd require a little bit more
2,000
research.
square feet, maybe, that would be my first thought.
Mayor?
Okay.
Don't we currently have a couple apartments off of Saginaw that are on the first floor? That we approved a while back. Will that be
Off of
affected?
Saginaw,
I don't recall any.
Somewhere
not in the
around
CBD
here.
district.
Yeah.
Oh, not-
So they must be zoned.
I just wanted to make
R1,
sure
R2.
that
Yeah.
we're not making a ruling and
So the
Get
point,
behind the
these
shark.
people over here are
Get behind the
okay.
shards.
No,
I think there was some influence about, I think when Jim Alt was having discussions with a planning consultant back then, I think this was about, because this isn't the CBD1 district, right? This is all we're
This is
talking
all
about.
Nipissing Street.
Right.
And wanting to make sure that we're maximizing our first floor area for retail. I mean, obviously it's mixed use and we can have like apartments, but we're trying to maximize the first floor. Obviously we want living space in the upper floors, but I think that was the purpose. So I don't know, I just think we should be we should be thoughtful about what we want to do here.
Sure.
So maybe we need to take that back and just try to
Yeah.
figure out, do you know what the minimum square footage is for the dwelling of an apartment?
750,
I thought, yeah,
700?
I was gonna say it was in the sevens.
Something
I
like that.
remember specifically what conversation you were talking about.
Because if you think about, well, I don't know if this is everywhere in the city, because if you look at those apartment buildings, what's the new place that's over up of,
Ben, it's right here.
it's behind the paramedical. What is that place that came here?
Behind Lapeer Medical, I don't know where.
All those new
Baldwin.
apartments.
Off Baldwin,
Off of Baldwin,
right behind
yeah,
Taco
they-
Bell and.
Yeah, they came to us
Oh.
The
for.
villas?
Yeah.
The villas.
Yeah.
Yes, I think they actually have ones in there that are less than 700.
Okay, yeah, they
There are like
probably
some that
do.
are like 550
Yeah.
or
The
something.
standard here for a one-bedroom apartment is 500 square feet. And then a
Okay.
two-bedroom apartment is 700 square feet, and a three-bedroom apartment is 900 square feet.
So if we had 2,000 or more square feet on a first floor, then I think 50% is fine. But if we had something that was, am I saying that opposite?
No, yeah,
But if we have something that is, because you have to have at least 500.
Yeah,
So,
right, so 2,000 or more would be 25%. And
Right.
then 2,000 or less would be 50%.
right,
Maybe.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Commissioner Edison, you had a comment?
This is probably, I didn't talk to Jim about this. This was me and Mike and I.
Right.
So I think we should.
Jim was, yeah, I think we should talk to
about
Jim,
this.
because
Yeah.
he was a part of this conversation.
Yeah. Okay, but good suggestions on potential revisions to this, so, very good.
Yeah, it can be hashed out next meeting.
Absolutely. This is it has a little bit of significance that we just brought up here, so we'll put a pin in that one. Okay, next one is for parking waivers and parking deferments. So there's no change in the policy of this section. We talked about last month, I had this section for parking deferment struck from the entire ordinance because I thought the intent, what we were going for was we wanted to replace deferments with waivers. But then last month, we suggested that maybe it'd be a good idea to keep both and then to give us maximum flexibility to see, what needs to go on with each site. So, based on that discussion, I've got a new provision here that speaks, first of all, it's kind of like a headline to the section, and then we've got two subsections within it. So the headline reads, 2 options to decrease the number of required parking spaces for any new development are parking requirement waivers, number 1, or parking deferments, number 2. A potential applicant will work with the planning department to determine which option is most appropriate for their given situation. And then we've got real clear for the parking requirement waivers. Once again, this has not changed, I'll just restate it here. An applicant may request a waiver from the planning commission of up to 50% of the minimum required off-street parking spaces upon demonstrating compliance with the following points. A, site constraints limit the amount of parking that could be installed, or B, a parking demand analysis or similar evidence shows that the proposed uses will not require the full number of parking spaces required. And then down here, this is one about restriping, just a minor correction from last month. Full compliance with current city standards at the time of, I formerly had it as restriping, but that's not correct because sometimes think of a parking lot right now and they're all single line striped. Half of the lines are faded, the other half of the lines are not faded. So in an instance like that, we would allow maintenance of the parking lot to just redo all the single lines. But at the time of resurfacing, we would absolutely require that all parking lots come into full compliance with our double line stuff. So that's where I changed striping to surfacing here. Okay, next one is on damage signs. The only change to this section is formerly this read, damage signs shall be removed by the owner within 3 days after receipt of notice to do so. Used to read from the building official, and we agreed as a planning commission last month that we would want this change to shall be removed by the owner within 3 days after receipt of notice to do so from an authorized city official. Just kind of giving the city more flexibility. It will probably be the building official or a code enforcement officer who's issuing these, but now a broad umbrella for us to issue these damage sign violations if we choose to do so. Onto monument signs here. So formerly we had discussed increasing the height of monument signs. To go along with that, last month we discussed, well, if we increase the height of the monument signs, we should probably increase the maximum area allowed of monument signs too. So doing a little bit of research, 10 feet maximum in height somewhat correlates to 80 square feet per side. So if we think about a 10-foot tall sign, that's including the base, it's probably going to be about 8 feet of sign area. So that would then allow someone to go out 10 feet, so up by 8 and wide by 10 for a monument sign. And this is a fair change from what we had formerly. My argument as the planner would be we don't allow pole signs in Lapeer, so I think we should be a little bit more flexible with monument signs, allowing businesses to put a nice big monument sign out when they would probably put a pole sign up in other communities that they have their same business. And then here's another one that will affect CBD. We talked about last month for projecting signs. So we kind of agreed as a planning commission that we want more projecting signs in downtown. And one way that we could spark potentially seeing more of them would be to increase the square footage allowed of the projecting signs. So formerly we had 8 square feet per side, 16 square feet in total for the maximum area for projecting signs. And now I'm proposing to take that up to 20 square feet per side, 40 square feet in total, and then we're also going to change the minimum height from 8 to 10. We discussed last month that 8 is just a little bit too short, close to our heads, where 10 gives us a little bit more space. So I'll reiterate that with these projecting signs, they absolutely go through a full review for the building department. So think about connection of the sign and making sure that it's tight in weather in the winter and things like that. So even though we're gonna go to larger signs, they will then have to justify, okay, this sign has this much weight on it, so these bolts, this bolted connection, you know, is rated to carry the weight of this sign in a certain weather event or something like that. So even though we're going larger, I'm not concerned at all about safety or anything like that, because we have lots of other provisions that are gonna keep them in check on safety. Wall signs, the only change that we have here is, so last month we discussed for wall sign area allowed, no single business shall be allowed more than 125 square feet of wall signage. That's very much in line with what we have going right now based on our wall sign calculations. I've done a lot of sign permits in the city of Lapeer over the last few years. I think I've had just one or two that end up having a calculation that gives them more wall sign area than 125 square feet. So that's where we arrived at. No single business shall be allowed more than 125 square feet of wall signage. However, when one of the following conditions are met, an applicant may apply for an additional 50 square feet of wall signage. One of those conditions being if the primary structure is set back more than 175 feet from the front lot line. And then that second provision being the primary structure front face is greater than 1,300 square feet. So currently, we take the front face of a building and we multiply the area of that front face by 10%. And then that 10% gives us their allowed wall sign area. So that's where I connected the dots here with 125 and with 1,300. So obviously if you had a 1,300 square foot front face, 10% of that is 130. So now, if you do have a front face that would allow you more than 125 square feet of wall signage, you are allowed to request an additional 50 square feet of wall signage. The only change from last month here in this section is some discussion with Mike. I measured a lot of the major big box retailers in Lapeer and found that most of them are set back in between like 200 and 225 feet from their front lot line. And Mike was thinking, well, what if we have one that's 195 feet from the front lot line? That will not meet the 200 foot setback. So let's go down to 175 to try and encompass all stores that might be set back kind of between the range of like 180 to 220. Let's go down to 175 to encompass those.
Didn't this come up as a discussion with Harbor Freight? Is that where it came up?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
one of them. Yeah.
That's what I thought. I'm like, I remember this conversation with the
And
numbers.
honestly, most businesses like Harbor Freight are probably gonna meet both of these. So they'll definitely get approved for that extra 50 square feet. I think Harbor Freight was only allowed less than 125 square feet because of the way that their facade and the windows are so recessed and the windows take up so much of their facade, so they had a very small wall area. So they totally hit, they probably hit both of these, like I said. And then one more down here for projecting signs. So now that we're gonna go with a little bit larger projecting signs, I wanted to make sure that we have one for materials, especially because most of these projecting signs will probably go up downtown. These need to be quality signs down there. So we've got projecting signs must be constructed out of durable, weather-resistant materials such as aluminum, steel, or high-grade plastics.
I have a comment on that one.
Yeah.
We might want to be a little more specific on the high grade.
Okay.
Number one, I'm not a plastics guy, but I do know that there are there's quite a variety of them. So I think it might be helpful to just, if they had a list of like, whatever, 5, 7, whatever the number is, but,
Right, high-grade. I'm not an expert either, and I'm the one who's gonna have to review them, so.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Specific plastic materials. Very good. Yeah. Okay, and then just another small change. So we already agreed upon this one that's called removal of signed copy following business closure. Within 1 year of a business closure, sign contents must be removed from all sign cabinets or sign structures. And here's the new text this month. Must be replaced with either a blank panel or advertising content as determined by an authorized city official. The sign structures may remain. We discussed that we might not enforce this one, but we could enforce it. Just another one to kind of have in our tool bag. I'm sure that we can all think of a business or two that's gone out over the last several years in Lapeer, where the sign has stayed up for quite a while. So we'll see when we choose to enforce this one, just another one to have in our toolbox.
So what would I mean, obviously I understand the blank paint off, but if they're gone, what would the advertising content be?
Space for lease,
Or these.
yeah, is what it would
okay.
probably be, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because it would make it look like maybe they could actually advertise like where they've gone, like where their future
Yeah,
addresses. So
okay.
like, what does that mean?
Well, they
Yeah.
could,
Yeah.
that too.
Maybe they could.
Well,
Think
but for a
about,
whole year?
think about Webco Press on McCormick. That's been not operational for how many years and that sign's still up. So whether they enforce it or not, it's like, I don't care. I'm just saying they're examples that if they wanted to, yeah.
Okay.
And right, as determined as the authorized city official, so that, putting that line where it is in the section gives us lots of flexibility. So I think in an instance like that, if we were upset that advertising content was up for 5 years, advertising their new business in Lake Orion, we could have it taken down and said, look, it's been 5 years, we let you have it up, and now
Right.
we determine that it should not be up anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So staff recommendation, I want to amend this just slightly to make sure that we include the few changes that we discussed tonight. So staff recommendation, staff recommends the planning commission make a motion to set a public hearing at the October meeting to consider text amendments to the zoning ordinance articles 13, 15, 16, and 17 with, what should the language be? Including discussion at tonight's meeting? No?
I don't think that's necessary,
Okay.
because we're gonna review them all again.
We're gonna
briefly.
review them all again.
Right.
So you can
Yeah.
review whatever minor amendments are made from tonight,
Mhm.
and then
Next one,
still have a
okay.
public hearing, and then make the amendments in the motion,
Yeah.
recommendation to the city
And
commission.
one thing to understand, the public hearing is not tying to decision, right? So if we have the public hearing and we as a board think, oh, we want one more month to talk about these amendments, we can take that. The public hearing is just a procedural step that has to be done with all text amendments. We're pretty darn close with most of these, so I think we're going to set a public hearing.
I agree as well. Any discussion?
Do we need a motion to set a public hearing? I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Any support?
Support.
And support. Any discussion? Well, all those in favor vote with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the nay. Seeing none, motion carries. Good job. I know it's been a few months for you working on that one.
Yeah, it sure has.
All right. Next, right in front of us, we have our correspondence. I did have one question about the correspondence and maybe, so I see the El Cozumel was scheduled for August 20. Are we still waiting for the revised site?
Actually, this week I got revised plans in,
Okay, cool.
since May, so they were actually revised ones were received today.
Good
or
deal.
this week.
This week.
I like it. So that's moving, I'm just gonna assume that's moving more in the step
Right.
forward, correct? Okay.
Their explanation has been they're building other sites
Oh,
in Genesee, and they've kind of been going site to site, and it sounds like they're pretty close to working on ours now.
Well, geez, they're
The one
supposed
in
to be
Davison
done.
wasn't open as of a few days.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous.
The only other,
They're gonna lose customers.
another thing that I had, is Tommy's gonna expire?
Well, their original one is yes, they submitted a revised one, so their, Tommy's, the original plan will expire, but they're working on an administrative review revised one, and once that's approved, then their timeline starts from approval date.
Perfect. Like it.
Because they revised it to add 15 feet to, then they had to do property transfers and all this stuff.
It's all good. I was just more curious about in
So
motion.
yes, the original one will expire,
Good deal.
as will El Cosmos.
Okay.
Well, at least we haven't lost the business.
Yeah, that's
Right,
kind of where I was
exactly.
going for, because there's some significant properties in the city.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Training reports.
Okay, so there's a nice, the training's kind of slowed down in the fall a little bit for MAP because they're all freaking out planning for the planning conference. But there is one good training that's coming up here on September 25th. It's a virtual training from 3 to 4:30 in the afternoon. It's called Transforming Your Corridors with Housing. I'm definitely gonna sign up, and I'm gonna encourage Mike to sign up too. So in the description for this training, it said, hear from communities that are retrofitting tired corridors into thriving, people-centered spaces that create new economic opportunities using housing to lead the charge. So it's like $20 to sign up if you're a planning commission member. So if you'd like to sign up, just let Cam or I know and we can help you get signed up. And then once again, I'll continue to talk about the Michigan Planning Conference, which is from October 22nd to 25th. If you were going to go and maybe wanted to go for just one day, Thursday, October 23rd of the conference is a great day to sign up for. There are lots of applicable topics for the city of Lapeer on that day. I wish I could be in 2 rooms at once on that day because there's lots of good stuff on that day.
Good deal.
That's all I got.
All right, any questions on the training? Pretty straightforward. All right, now to commissioner comments. Commissioner Grady?
I would love to do the virtual training, so
All
I'll
right,
take you guys after.
great. Can
But,
do.
no other comments.
Good deal. Commissioner Pedersen?
No comments.
Commissioner Johnson?
No.
Commissioner Bostic?
No comments.
Vice Chair?
I don't know if you're contacting us or do you want us to contact you about that virtual training?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
contact Ben, I've never signed up
Yeah.
for any of these.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mayor?
I have nothing tonight.
And I as well have nothing, so I make a, adjournment.
Cool, let's enjoy this beautiful
Ah, I didn't even look up.
7:02.
I didn't look up. Hey! Oh, man.
I'll send you an email next week.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Doug, I'll send you an email next week.
Cool,
with that
thank
training
you.
stuff. You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
You beat that deadline.
Yeah, sure.
though.
Okay.
We have, we have,
We got no early.
we have beat that before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know, right? With the camera off.
Disappointed
Yeah, I agree.
Listening.
what day of the week is the 25th?
Thursday.
Oh, it is.
It's a Thursday.
Can you send me that link as well?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
You know what? I'll just send it to the entire commission.
I do it, but I don't know what, well, like, really when.
We'll see everybody later.
Yeah, see you guys. Everybody have a good one. See you, what is it, September, October?